Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Crusaders of Might and Magic. Today is going to be a special episode. First half is going to be boring old story progression going to the Citadel and back. But if you have played the game before and if you want to just see the thing that I am sure many people who play this game missed because it's optional and you usually don't tend to think to even go there and see that stuff, there's a link in the description of this video that's going to take you right there to the stuff that even FAQs and walkthroughs of this game do not mention. So there's a good chance that if you play this game you might have missed that as well. But if you just want to see the game as it is, because you haven't played it at all, please keep watching, I guess. I'm going to start with demonstrating how these things work. I mentioned last time that they are pretty useless, the Vampiric Shield and the Blade of Hunger. Let's see, the Blade of Hunger gives us 1 HP per hit. The shield seems to give us 3. Maybe it depends on the strength of the enemy's attack, I'm not sure, but it's still pretty useless. Because, well, I said before, from now on there's going to be primarily undead enemies, and undead enemies can reverse the effects of vampiric stuff, so that they actually drain your own health instead. And there are some living enemies, but their attacks can't be blocked with a shield. And the sword, of course, is useless because it barely does damage, and it gives you only 1 health point per hit, so it's pretty freaking pointless to even try to gain some health with it. That said, this effect can actually kill him, so it is draining health from him and not just giving it to me or anything. There we go, demonstrated. And this is Lesser Healing Potion. I'm going to consume it. Just because. Now, before going to the Citadel, there's actually something that I want to show first. It was, just like the big thing in the later half of this update, something that I haven't known before and has just discovered pretty much the first time during this Let's Play, because I have been looking at walkthroughs and FAQs to see where some artifacts are that I might not remember where to get, just in case I might have missed them or anything. And by the way, the Citadel in this direction, but I'm going here. And they inserted an idea in my head about areas that we don't have to visit anymore, but they still change when the story progresses, just like all the other areas in the game. You know, like get populated by different enemies, there's different pickups strewn about in them sometimes. So the other area that changes like that is this part of Kedar Sul. This here location, the village that we went through the first time through the game, in the beginning of the game, and pretty much irrelevant for the entirety of the game afterwards, so you don't have to return here at any point ever. But you can, and you'll find that this merchant, for example, sells different stuff. First of all, I'm going to retrieve all my health that's missing right now from my circle up there by hitting him with the sword, because he doesn't give a shit and he's invulnerable. There we go. Now I'm going to steal some money from him. Check out the amount of money that is in this pile. It's larger than any sum ever. 267 coins. You move back in the corner, you motherfucker. By the way, every merchant in this game ever, that is to say the Citadel merchant, this guy and the dwarf in Karanta, they always say the same line. Please check out my fine wares, I think they say. And this guy, despite saying that before, and this in particular instance here, and only this guy in this time, says a different line. We can interact with him all the way across the counter like so. As you can see, or hear I guess in this case, there's a different thing he says. Now I'm going to sell this stuff to him. The Vampiric Shield, the Blade of Hunger that I just used on him for so long. And I will also sell a Druger's Wrathful Hammer, but slightly later. First of all, let's buy these potions as tradition demands, like I said before at some point. Oh yes, and let's not forget to sell Fire Resistance, Ring of Thought, and Ring of Vigor. And I'm not selling the Boomerangs, no way in hell. But yes, let's see the stats. This hammer will now do 63 damage. All of that 30 in bash and multiplied by whatever.
So you want to buy my wares?
It costs 1,100, let's sell it. And buy this thing, Holy Avenger, costs 3,500 gold points and is probably the most expensive item in the entire game, I believe. And it's not for nothing. Check out the damage, 105. Holy shit. Does a combination of bash and slash and a light damage, half of it, well, more than half of it even. Now, I think no one in the game is immune to light damage. The undead are probably even vulnerable. So the sword is going to help me quite a lot, and it's huge! To the point that if I run this direction, diagonally forward and right, it's completely cutting through my neck and face and everything. But enough about that. That was the first thing that I haven't known before, the sword particularly. And it's going to be quite helpful. But the other thing that is going to be in the second half of this video, after I return from the Citadel, there's a whole lot more to be found in Kedar Sul after that point, let's just say. And now I'm going to speed up me getting back to the Citadel.
Gurm does not look too tough, and he's not too bright. But I've seen him wade into a crowd of ogres and emerge victorious. I would toast to his valor on any eve.
Good on you.
Hail, I am Casper.
There's only one of you in here now, I guess the other one has been exorcised. Oops, wrong button. But yeah, the Crusaders are pushing back against the Legion somewhat, so I guess they decided that a ghost is a part of the undead Legion, which I cannot really blame them for. Let's see if these guys have new things to say.
Keep practicing and mind your manners, and you may be a real Crusader someday.
This asshole is laughing at the prospect of me being a real Crusader someday. What a jerk. Actually, I remember that guys in there don't say anything new, so let's skip that. Let's go visit this camp that has always been home to a bunch of skeletons and maybe some loot. This time is no different. Now this isn't going to make much of a difference, but at least... Whoop. At least the mage guys also die in 2 hits instead of 3 when you have heroism on at this level. I'm gonna pick up some of these weapons to sell to the merchant at the Citadel. Haha, missed with your fucking lightning. So many potions. There you see my heroism has run out and it took 3 hits to kill him. Okay, this broadsword, actually okay, I'll keep it. Let's see what's in the chest that has been guarded so well. Absolutely nothing. Well, I'm fine with that. I got a bunch of potions and some extra money, so whatever, it's nice. Not nearly as hard anymore as it once was. By the way, this is the Shadow Blade, I think. Yes, and it's very cheap. I think it does some dark damage and therefore might be slightly useless. So the price kind of reflects the situation. Another speed potion here and some monies. And I can actually reorganize these to fit in one more sword to sell. Once again, I don't really need all that money, but I just like to go all out and get as much as I can for no reason. I'll just have a million healing potions. And also that way I can justify just using them to heal, what, 25 or whatever health points.
I heard the steward lost
Okay,
all the
that is
capital to
old.
the bandits, and he had to step up his port.
This is going to be a funny whatever position of these two guys dialogue.
You should never run from a foe. You may know it to be the best way, but what will others think? Always, honor before cowardice.
First of all, this guy is an idiot. Second of all, this guy we already talked to before.
Have you ever seen a black knight? They are frightening! If you
see one, I suggest running.
But I think it's kind of funny that they are so close together like so. You guys should really talk it out. Maybe you'll come to an agreement on this question of running or not. Anyway, the ship to the Citadel is right over there.
Hail, stranger.
I think it's actually clear, well, it's slightly overcast, but certainly no hail, so whatever.
I think some of my brethren are a little full of themselves. Do not let that deter you from the light, my friend.
Don't worry, I don't take them seriously anyway. Any of you actually, I'm better than everyone else.
Where's Aaron?
She's transporting Captain Ursand and a group of Crusaders to the glaciers.
Is it your boomerangs that I found in the catacombs, sir? No offense, but you kinda sound like someone who would use boomerangs. Also, he is not invulnerable unlike Aaron, so he's dead down there. I don't think we can pull off the trick of jumping on whoever's down there and surviving anymore. Oh well.
I am Jake, and I welcome you in the Citadel.
I have been here before, thank you very much.
The Crusaders are the hope and future of this land.
No, it's me. Only me.
I can't be bothered with you.
When you meet with Celestia, notice
Yes,
how
yes,
she
yes.
exudes leadership, grace, beauty, and strength.
What are you doing here?
My uncle lives close to the stronghold. I hope to hear good tidings of his condition.
Well, you know what? Good for you. I seriously contemplated killing that guy just because he chose to stand in a badly lit room like that, but... Well, I mean, he was kind of asking for it, but then again, that's victim blaming and everyone hates it, so whatever. Oh, this little guy here, let's see what he's actually saying.
I am a master swordsman.
Whatever you say, dude. There's a bunch of new dialogue in here, so I will go around talking to people before going up to Celestia and telling her that I've got the horn. Okay, I'm gonna go there first. These guys don't want to talk to me.
How can anyone survive out there? Is not the entire world overrun by evil? What are we to do?
Sit here in the Citadel and cover in fear, I guess.
There are strange beasts out there in the wild. I am content to reside here and stay safe from harm.
Just like that.
It is good that the Citadel is so far from danger. What would we do if the Crusaders were to fall?
This is kind of an interesting setting. Like, I mean, if you immerse yourself to some extent and feel the situation, like the entire world is being overrun by the undead, and all these guys have is this floating fortress that is their last safe place in the entire world. That is kind of intriguing. A cool setting. Too bad it was kind of wasted on this game.
I am William, and I welcome you into the Citadel.
All the while laughing hysterically like an idiot. Also, what's with all these people welcoming me to the Citadel on my second visit, not the first?
We must stand together with the other races to defeat the Legion of the Fallen. Together we can be victorious. Divided, I run.
What a stupid fucking thing to say. Divided, I run. Alright, run if you are divided ever. I am almost tempted to go and divide him, but I think there are people with swords here who would not appreciate that kind of treatment. Alright, let's grab all these healing potions, like we usually do, and also check out this barrel containing another barrel which never ceases to amuse me. And have I pointed this out before? I don't remember. I think I forgot my first time in here. What's the deal with this row of tiles here that is elevated like this? Really strange. Really, really strange. Anyway, speed potion. And I think this is it. Let's go visit the merchant. Down there is, if you remember, those beds in the bedroom with the people who lie on them and keep floating if you kill the beds. But up here we have the merchant. And we're going to sell a bunch of stuff to him again.
Please, please check out my fine wares.
And you saw that armor, of course, I am buying that armor. Actually, I originally didn't want to buy it, because unlike I first said that about the plate of elemental protection, This is actually the armor that has negative resistance to light and dark. But I think it's worth having just for the sake of looking cooler, and besides it has higher resistance to slash and bash, which makes it worth it because I don't think you're ever attacked with light in this game, and the only attacks that have the dark, that I can imagine having the dark element, are probably the poison clouds that those guys shoot that we already saw before, and that one spell that drains your life, but neither are especially dangerous even with this armor on. These guys don't want to talk. So yeah, whatever, I am totally wearing this armor now. It looks cool, I feel. Different from your typical fantasy plate mail.
Please leave me alone.
I am looking at this painting. Okay. Anyway, we are finished our tour of the Citadel. What an optimized route I took. I marvel at myself. Let's go up to Celestia. Well, first there's two people here. I think one of them at least might say something interesting.
Let your aggressions be the tool by which you wield your sword. You will be amazed at the strength you gain from it. That advice is free.
Makes sense that it's free because it's terrible. Terrible fucking advice. If you attack enraged without tactical thought, you will get destroyed, even in this game.
The old dog should listen to Celestia. The future is in her hands.
The future is in her hands. Yes, well, actually no, it's in my hands. All of your destinies are in my hands. I decide the fate of the world. Well, I am a typical fantasy game hero after all. So that is no boasting, my friends. That is only the honest truth. And up here we have Celestia again, and her bunch of robots and white knights.
I got the horn, but it took a lot longer than I thought.
That's good news, Drake. I could use some. Captain Urson and several of my best Crusaders have not returned from their mission into the glaciers. I need you to find them.
That last line was very strangely delivered, by the way. I need you to find them. Well, alright then, Celestia, I will go find them. By the way, unlike her white knights, who can be moved just by pushing, she cannot. But you can shield bash, of course you will lose some health during that. But you can shield bash her into this staircase here. If you're feeling like doing some violence against women in a video game, you can drop her down here somewhere out of the eyes of the white knights, and you will be safe from any retribution because they will not see or hear her screaming if you attack her. But of course that's not something that I condone or recommend. I am just merely stating the possibility if any of you want to like express your aggression or whatever. Pay no attention. Okay, the scene has been reloaded again, and among other things you will notice that a lot of NPCs are now gone. Because, well, it's kind of strange with the women, because I haven't seen any women soldiers in this game, but it makes kind of some sense that the men are gone, because it seems like the Crusaders are mobilizing their forces and moving out in an attack, pushing back the Legion. The potions have respawned here, so of course I'm visiting this place. But yes, you will see a lot more soldiers now in the outside areas. So I kind of feel like they all got drafted. Okay, please let me in. This reminds me of Doom or something. Huh. Oh wait, maybe this is the wrong door. Ah yes, right, this is this is a lower level. So what, this is like... Oh, I thought it was the door above, which could be opened, and that was just some dude being squashed by the door or something. But this is actually one of those doors that you cannot open, but it makes a sound. You know, usually the sound is this click that you must have heard before, because I definitely clicked on some of those doors before. But I guess that one door is unique because it makes the Doom kind of grunt sound when you click on it. I mean, press use on it. Yeah, I thought it was this door, which isn't actually a door even. Oh well, at least we found that. I don't think I've ever found that before, and that's interesting. I wonder if it was intentional, like some sort of Easter egg, or just a glitch. It's kinda actually harder to imagine that being a glitch, because you would have to intentionally set that sound to that. And I mean, that door was already before activated and using the proper sounds in previous iterations of this level, so I don't know.
I have no time to talk. I must make preparations for war.
You see, this guy's dialogue kind of supports that everyone is getting drafted for war.
The weapons and armor here are finely crafted. The best, in fact. Only the dwarves of Carantha can come close in workmanship.
Kinda funny how the voice actor got so passionate about defending the craftsmanship of Citadel that he added that line, the best in fact, which wasn't in the subtitles.
Have you ever seen a rampaging behemoth? It's not a pretty sight. Run if you cross paths with one, if you can.
Also increasing amount of missing spaces in subtitles as well, so who knows, maybe that was a mistake in subtitles in this guy's dialogue. But yeah, spoiler alert, we will not ever face a raging behemoth in this game, so whatever. And at this point you can freely go between the Citadel and here, which I will probably use off camera in this episode to sell a bunch of new stuff that I get from the most interesting part.
I do apologize, but I'm busy.
Yeah, I can see that.
I follow Celestia as I follow the other Crusaders. She has earned her title and my respect.
Good for you. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think I may have mentioned this before, but I like how when the areas get repopulated by different characters, you can kind of see the progression of the story.
The old dogs should listen to Celestia. The future is in her hands.
Which is to say, the Legion overtaking some of the other areas previously filled with other hostile creatures, and in this case, the Crusaders advancing.
Glory to the gods of light in combat. May your sword find the true enemy and vanquish him.
And this just screams to me that they didn't really have any sort of established like pantheon of deities for this universe, of course, well, obviously why would they have one? And they made this guy just praise the vague gods of something that sounded useful and good. Oh well.
Give in to the willow, Celestia. A guiding hand and soothing words will help you to understand your role in all of this.
That was kind of creepy. Alright. Now that camp that we previously cleared is now just cleared. There's going to be one of these guys with halberds there, and nothing ever going to be there again, no loot or anything.
I lost my family to the dark.
Okay, that is old.
I fought in the stronghold when it fell. Many good crusaders, soldiers, and militia died that day, and the Legion just sits there and gloats.
I don't actually believe the Legion is capable of expressing emotions, but believe what you want to believe.
I've heard of this secret weapon of Necros. Some would say it's a fiction generated by Celestia in order to justify the occupation tax.
So I'm guessing there are conspiracy theorists even in this fantasy world. And I mean, the occupation tax sounds like it is justified just because there is occupation, you know? But of course Celestia should be more transparent with where he spends her, I mean she, unless there's some dark secret, spends her money. This is one hellish looking chimney. If you remember before, in probably like the very first update, we have climbed on the roof of one house and the chimney was just a hole, without any holes in it. And this one actually has a hole and it is completely red. Well, not completely, but there is some sort of pattern there, but it is red and scary. The best thing is I just jumped on the roof on the whim. I didn't actually know that there's going to be that red thing in the chimney, so I just thought, might be fun to jump on his head and then on the roof.
Celestia shows wisdom beyond her years. She knows exactly the path we must take to secure dominance in the land.
You know, I also know exactly the path we must take, because the path, spoiler alert, dude, I know it might blow your mind and destroy your world, but this land has pretty much only one path, and it is linear and straight. So if you just go where you can go, you will always arrive where you need to be.
Celestia shows wisdom
Yeah.
She knows exactly the path we must take.
I don't hate the older Crusaders or even dislike them, but they do not understand what we are trying to accomplish here.
And I don't understand what you're trying to say, because, I mean, surely the shared goal of both of your generations of Crusaders would be just destroying the Legion, right? Unless they're doing something else.
I hope that arrogance wears off with experience. The new blood in the Crusaders' ranks has a lot to learn about being a hero.
I do value honor and station gained through deeds, not words. Show your true self and do not blather of how wonderful you are or can be.
Well, I would blather, but I don't have any option to talk back to you fuckers, so whatever. My only option in this game that I have is to be extremely heroic, powerful and just all around amazing, which I will not apologize for. Alright, now we are closing into the cool part. Yeah.
I have not had the opportunity to face the Legion in battle. I cannot wait to see the fear in their eyes as they face my wrath.
You definitely sound like someone the Legion would fear. Definitely.
Standard practice would have you bow before me. I will accept a gentle nod of the head.
I can actually do that, because Drake lowers his head with the camera.
I can't be bothered with you.
Alright, now this is the house of that rich old lady, which sold me a level of torchlight once, and said something about there is more to this struggle than meets the eye, blah blah blah.
I cannot help but wonder if we will be able to stand this tide of evil.
This guy,
quickly overrun.
this guy not only raised from the dead, but also ran here from the entrance to the catacombs.
Have you heard of the secret weapon that Necros builds? I say it's his own citadel, based on magics from a far-off land.
You're actually not far off from the truth.
I lost my family to the dark time.
Yeah, that is old. Yeah, the Necros secret weapon is actually going to be in this game, and it's one of my favorite levels of all time.
I am of the new elite. You should watch your tongue in my presence.
Alright.
There's little chance of making it through these lands alone anymore. You should seek protection with Crusaders. We can get you safe passage through these bandit and legion-infested lands.
Actually, I'm going to make it through alone just fine, thank you very much.
There is no time to talk, I am quite busy.
This guy doesn't talk, so you're free to read the subtitles while he's doing the motions. And this guy just says the same thing about Necros' secret weapon, Citadel of his own, and blah blah blah. Alright, now here is where you will land if you click that time link in my description. And first of all, of course, we're going to see the new stuff. But before that, we need to do one thing, just for the context. You see, that's the old witch that used to sit in this house.
Oh, trust me, there's more to this struggle than meets the eye. This should help you see things clearly.
Thanks.
Got Talisman of True Sight. That's the same code she used when she sold me the torchlight, which is kind of appropriate for that spell as well, but this item here, Talisman of True Sight, is very important to this story. Well, kind of important to the story, I guess. It lets you see things that were invisible. Only one thing, actually. But it is supremely creepy and interesting, and it changes things, which... I mean, what she said is true. There is more to the struggle than meets the eye. These floating dudes are what you can see now. They are some sort of possessor demon, and they are meant to influence the minds of whoever they possess, to plant the seeds of discord among the ranks of the Crusaders and other people as well. Well, this guy is an exception.
Hail Celestia, may she lead us to victory and glory.
But mostly, interestingly enough, the guys who are possessed by these guys seem to have slightly more aggressive lines of dialogue.
You may think me young and inexperienced, but I could take a grizzled veteran like yourself.
Well, as soon as you stop stabbing yourself in the face. But yeah, these guys, there's going to be a spell later on for the story mostly that makes them actually tangible, whatever the word is, and vulnerable to attacks, because as right now, they're just invincible and also invisible to everyone but me. And you cannot do anything to them. Well, I guess maybe if you kill the guys who they possess, maybe they fly away or something, I don't actually know, and I want to try here. But if you read any walkthrough or any FAQ that lists enemies, you might see these mentioned, but they will always say that these cannot actually be fought. There is one instance in the game when you already have that spell that makes them tangible, and you only use that spell in a cutscene, and other people in an area inaccessible to you kill them after they become vulnerable. So you cannot actually use that spell yourself in gameplay and fight any of those guys. That is what those walkthroughs would have you believe. But I have discovered something quite interesting.
You should never run from
Okay.
a foe. You may know what
I heard this before.
What will others think? Always honor before cowardice.
Do not let the darkness sway you.
Oh.
Power ill-gotten can be a dangerous lure. You must earn your keep. Steel your metal as it blackens folds a finely crafted sword 100 times.
Sword.
The longer it takes to build your character, the farther down the right path you will make.
Okay, I apologize for making you listen to that tedious dialogue, but as I said before, the area of Citadel, while being largely irrelevant, still changes as the story progresses and gets repopulated with stuff. Last time in the beginning of this update we went here to buy this awesome sword, which I also never knew about before, but this time there's quite a bit of new stuff. This area is transformed into a sort of optional place. That, you know, it's kind of normal for RPGs to have this sort of area with more dangerous enemies, like mini-bosses or something, and more cool loot than you would normally find, like this optional dead-end path. This path, sadly, isn't all that dangerous, even though the types of enemies you face are quite upgraded from your usual skeletons. But there's quite a lot of unique things in here. And first of them is in the shop here. There is no more shopkeeper, but there's something else which is much more interesting. You see, this is the only instance in the entire game where one of these guys can be fought. He is nothing special, of course. He has a bit of HP compared to the regular enemies. And he looks kinda creepy when he's not translucent. Well, I mean the translucent ones and the implications of them, that's something that is there but you cannot see, or anyone else. Well, you can see them but no one else can. That's creepy in its own right as well. But this guy just looks kinda spooky, the face. But as you can see, he's not exceptionally powerful. And I think he does the animation of a dasher. I'm not sure, but the model might even be some sort of modified dasher model, but at least the animation was definitely one of them. So yeah, that's the only one you can find, and evidently people who wrote the walkthroughs you can see online, none of them actually found this, so this is quite groundbreaking for anyone who cares about this game. So actually there's not a lot of people who care about this game, but on the off chance that you are one of them, this should be quite interesting. Especially if you played the game before and never found it, but there's something even more interesting further on. Also, as you could see, he was carrying another hunger blade. You'll find two more of the hunger blades here, and more importantly, two shields. Well, they're the same shields, just two instances of it, which are probably the best shield in this game, even better than this one of swiftness in action. Although I'm going to keep the swiftness in action shield, because I'm in running fast, and I want to keep all the running fast items throughout the entire game, so I can later apply them all, and the spell, the heroism spell, and the potion, and see just how fast you can get. Sadly, that's not going to be as fast as possible in this game, because on the easier difficulties your stats are higher, so you would end up with a higher speed stat by the end of the game on easy. But nevertheless, it should be quite funny to see. 31 gold coins, cool. But yeah, that shield that we'll find is the best shield in this game. By far. You will see why very soon, after we get it, of course. By the way, that thing that guy just did is a variation on a spell that we will obtain for ourselves. And it can actually hurt you quite a lot, it burns. And it does more damage than any other spell against you, like lightning or fireballs or whatever. It actually does noticeable damage, but funnily enough, it's probably like the only spell that you can completely defend against with a shield. So my speculation is that it is physical damage that it does, maybe. But still kind of strange that you can just block a spell with a shield. It's not normal for this game. Okay, let's see. Yep, this guy's angry with that guy. So he's going to distract him now. Come on, attack. There we go. So you see, there isn't fighting in this game. And you see he was starting to turn towards me, so they changed targets in this game like the Archviles on Doom, immediately. Whoa, that was cool. That was also cool, this guy is smart now. I wish more enemies did the shield bash, because it actually forces you to be slightly different in your approach towards fighting, because you cannot just block it completely. As you could see, they can do a shield bash, and why do I have an air resistance potion? I don't need it. They can completely do a shield bash and then attack you while you are knocked down. But sadly, again, not many enemies actually do that. Another air resistance. I don't need air resistance. The only air attack that I can imagine in this game would be the lightning, and the awesome shield actually helps against that precise thing. So let's avoid being noticed by those two transparent guys, cast Heroism, and go into this house to face another new, well, not totally new, but a variation on the old enemy. There is a bunch of types of these guys in the game. And they have different textures, different sizes, slightly different models, and whatnot. And there's two of these guys in this area, and they have the same drops. Actually, I'm not sure if you can find this exact variation anywhere else in the game, but maybe you can. And he totally said something when he died, but it was too quiet to hear. Now this thing that they drop is actually interesting, because it's the Road of the Archmage, very cheap. Isn't actually that good because it doesn't do like a lot of damage, and it doesn't even increase, like, you could have thought that it would increase your intelligence or mana, but it doesn't seem to do that. But this thing is the best, Reflective Shield. I wonder if you can guess what it does based on everything I've said up until now. Let's kill these dudes first. Whoa, that was terrible. I will need to drink some more potions after this. Alright, now one of those skeletons over there should be a mage. I think the middle one is. Do lightning. There we go. Fuck you. And fuck everyone who's using lightning after this point. Because now you can reflect lightning and make it damage your enemies, just like a Franklin badge from the Mother series, I suppose. Also, one of these guys was wielding another Blade of Hunger. So yeah, this shield is going to be our friend for the rest of the game. Well, the parts of the game that have the lightning wielding monsters, of course. Okay, I'm going to try to make these guys fight again. Well, that guy could just shoot the barrel, I guess. Alright, I'm fine with that. That spell is actually dangerous. You need to keep your shield up. I wonder if I can make these two guys fight. Come on, dude, shoot. Wow, fuck. Shoot the green stuff. No? Well, that guy didn't seem particularly offended by being hurt by the green thing, I guess. Actually, it's slightly troublesome to face two of them in such close proximity, because they will keep casting that shit and not giving you opportunities to attack. Still not offended, alright. Yeah. Alright, if you guys keep doing that simultaneously, that is no danger to me. I just need to keep facing them so I'm protected with my shield. Okay, can you please die? Ugh. Okay, that was very close. Very close indeed. I am now worried that one of them will cast that fireball thing and actually kill me. Well, the orange guy, the more orange guy, the one that is farther from here now, he is the one that casts the fireballs. Okay, this is shit, troublesome. Alright, fireballs do seem to do 3 damage, so that's nice. Will you please die already? Thank you very much. Alright, you are going to die as well, because you are annoying. Alright, yet another Blade of Hunger, money, potions, everything. Awesome. 46 potions. Not too bad. I am also going to grab this shield. If I can, there should be enough space. Yes, there is enough space, of course. There's a spell that they drop. Snap Freeze. Very useful spell, actually. I'm going to demonstrate it right away, after I drink a couple more potions. Okay, no, that's the wrong button. Let's remove this from the slot, so that everything we collect gets added into one slot. What's the... Yes, there we go. This spell is very useful. There we go, completely frozen. Mind you though, it's not always that you just destroy them like that. They can shatter the shell of ice and still come after you and attack you. But it's very useful for immobilizing enemies completely and opening up for a lot of hits. Now the tavern, I am not forgetting about it. It's actually our final destination. First I'm going to clear out that house because it's the last part of Kedar Sul that has been noticeably altered in any sort of meaningful fashion. See, they still die in 2 hits, so the damage you do to them isn't changed by the spell, it just immobilizes them. And of course if you kill them while they're frozen, it shatters them into pieces. Well, there was a corpse there for a second, so I don't know, maybe the... I think it does. Those 2 guys didn't have corpses. Well, that was needlessly risky. Alright. Now, there is a couple more skeletons in that direction, but they're just normal skeletons, and maybe 1 or 2 of those larger guys, like the weakest variety of the larger guys, like the one that was behind the tavern there. And that actually, that was like that before. That part, because it's low, it loads a different level when you go past that house. And that level, the last level where the entrance to the stronghold is, that doesn't change after somewhere near the beginning to the game where it adds those skeletons there. So there is not like super cool enemies and cool loot in there or anything. Alright, let's step into the inn. That is our last part here and the part that has the most interesting stuff in it. First we are ambushed here horribly. I'm going to count on this guy shooting me with a green fireball. Actually, I seem to be able to walk out, but I still want to make him in fight with the rest of them. Come on. God damn it. You guys suck. At least you miss when I don't want you to hit anyone. Alright, now this guy should be angry with him. As soon as he stops glitching out. Okay, someone follow me, alright. Now he should distract. No, he isn't actually angry with him. Cool, I guess. Alright. I don't see a reason for you to leave then. Good thing I already showed off the infighting, because this is the place where it's usually easiest to do. Yep, there we go, those two are angry. And I will beat up this guy. This guy drops the club. This is the only way in the game to obtain this club as a weapon. It's nothing special, but it's interesting to have it in your hands, because normally only larger enemies have it, and it itself is larger in their hands, and it is glued to them, in the sense that they never drop. No one ever drops this weapon, even though those same enemies can be made to have different weapons, like axes or something. You have seen the ogres in Duskwood use these clubs, but usually when they have these clubs, they don't drop them. And I always assumed it was a special weapon, not ever meant to be wielded by you, only by the enemies. Which, I guess, turns out it is false. It is obtainable and it is a real weapon, but only here. Only in this place and this time. Okay, now while those guys are duking it out down there, I'm going to deal with these two last people. Okay, the normal dude is dead there. There we go, he thawed out before I could kill him. But he's pretty useless, all things considered. Let's get all the scrap, potion and the ring, which is going to be for sale. Okay, I need to place one potion here to free up the slot. Then I can, or then assign a ring of constitution. Probably improves our health or something, but it's not useful, I'm going to sell it. Now the last thing in here, the very last thing. Very last. In one of these rooms. Let's check them one by one. Nothing in here, but I think we should cast torch if all the rooms are this dark. Nothing in here either. Let's also cast heroism, because it could be useful. This guy! Completely unique enemy. Well, the model is probably reused from those NPCs, Crusaders, but the texture is unique. I think the sounds may be unique. At least the death sound, perhaps. And this enemy can only be found here, at this one time, this one place, nowhere else, and of course no FAQ or walkthrough ever lists him among the enemies you can find in this game. Which is really intriguing. But as you can see, with heroism he doesn't actually do any damage to us. And he is down quite quickly. Without heroism he is actually quite a foe and can be a bit of a danger. Alright, he has the sword of the Crusader, but we cannot really get it, because we don't have space for it, which I'm fine with. We're done. I think that he might have been intended to be maybe Drake's father. And don't jump to like saying Antroid, there is no reason to think that. I mean, I know that there is no reason to think that, but Necros, when we meet him, mentions that our father and mother, our parents, have become members of the Legion, because they were killed, as we know, in the village when their Legion attacked in the intro to this game. They were killed. And Necros mocks us that we might have seen them and even killed them on our quest to find him. Or that we might see them in the future or something. I don't actually remember word for word exactly what he says. But it sounds like something that might have been, maybe, intended to be at some point in the game, like you would have to fight your family member or something. At least that's the only reason I can see for having that unique enemy and unique texture. In this game of all games, it doesn't seem like a game that would expend any extra effort to make a unique texture for an enemy and put him in such an optional place. I mean, I could see that the level designers here, sometimes there's like little gems of level design, little interesting things that maybe they just didn't have the power to make this game better, and they tried to do the best with what they had. So maybe they just had that enemy already done, and they just decided to put him here in an optional place in order to have a use for him at all. Maybe. That's my theory at least. But yeah, that was that. That was the unique stuff that I have never seen before this Let's Play. Because I never thought to visit Citadel after it becomes completely relevant for the story. I didn't think it would get changed and updated as the story progresses, as the other areas get changed and updated. You guys, if only you knew what I have just faced there. But yeah, reading a walkthrough or some file somewhere on the internet that said that this shield could be found somewhere in Citadel at some later point in the game. Well, I mean, they actually meant, I feel they meant it as the merchant would sell it, because no one ever mentions the enemies or anything there. And the lists of items, they are quite different from what I am experiencing here on hard difficulty, so I can only conclude that items are placed differently on hard.
Talent with a weapon does not make one a Crusader. It is the reason by which you wield that weapon that holds true meaning.
True. So yeah, I am pretty sure that no one ever found that. Or if they did, they never mentioned it anywhere. So that is quite a cool thing for me to find. I mean, that was quite a cool thing for me to find.
I do value honor and station.
Okay, that guy we already saw.
Not words. Show your true self and do not bother how wonderful.
So now we are over and done with that part. And next time we're going to be going through the catacombs for the last part, because as you might have heard from Celestia, our mission is now to go to the glacier and find the missing expedition of Ursan, who we freed from the prison in the very beginning of the game. And the glaciers are of course on the other side of the world, through the catacombs, like so. Joy.
Leave me alone.
Of course we have the shield now, so it's going to be extra fun facing all those magician skeletons who will just get their own medicine now.
I cannot help but wonder if we will be able to stem this tide of evil. The stronghold was quickly overrun.
Okay, that guy just changed his appearance. He used to be this model, but now he is this model.
I hope that arrogance wears off with experience. The new blood in the Crusaders' ranks has a lot to learn about being a hero.
Things are not as cheery as some of the other Crusaders make it out to be.
I don't think anyone is making things out to be cheery, my friend.
Give in to the will of Celestia.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna listen to that guy again. Freaking fundy.
You should not trust the dwarves. They are only greedy and see money as the true path to salvation. That shall be their downfall.
You see, it makes a lot of sense that this guy is making this guy have this opinion, or at least express it freely or something.
Leave me alone.
And that guy is just kinda gloomy and unsociable. Anyway, well, before the next update I'm going to run back to the Citadel's merchant and sell the 3 swords and extra shield and the ring. Just so I have free space in my inventory to collect more stuff later and sell it later to the last merchant in the game. But as far as you're well, I just said it, so I cannot say as far as you're aware, but well, for all intents and purposes you're going to see me from this spot, and next time we will go through the catacombs one last time while laughing in people's faces about their attempts to hit me with lightning attacks. So that's going to be fun. And yeah, the last visit through the catacombs, so it's not too bad. It's like we visited them 5 times or anything. 3 times is plenty enough, I think, to appreciate the length. At least when you're a kid and feel like the Citadel... the catacombs are like 500 times longer than they actually are. That actually has been a bit sad about these games, the Crusaders and Rune as well, because before I knew them so well, which I had to do to become acquainted with them to record this Let's Play, they always felt much longer than they actually are. But oh well. Either way, man, I suck today. Well, can you blame me? I just recorded this mind-blowing update. Either way, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching, and for now, goodbye.